I'm Melissa.
And I'm Mel.
Girl, let me tell you, I only had maybe a little less than half of that drink.
When you're drinking, you just got to drink more.
I am a strongly worded email.
Actually, that feels in line, though.
That is not true.
No, listen. And every now and again, when somebody get out of line, you just yell, pop the trunk.
I'm the juice to her gin. Did we hit record?
Is it working? Is it on?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Gin and Juice podcast. My name is Melissa.
And I am Mel.
And on this podcast, we talk about a little bit of everything and nothing at all. We're real life sisters. I actually saw a comment this week, actually.
That was like sisters?
Yes. I was actually very surprised that I know I always say that, but I was actually surprised that someone didn't know that we were sisters.
Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting. So, yes, we are real life sisters. I am the oldest. I have a middle sister. Her name is Monique. And then this is my baby sister.
Oh,
well, I was here first, from my perspective. And then this is my baby sister, Melanie. Nick's podcast. I thought it came out on this Saturday.
No,
it's next week, Saturday.
They're recording Thursday, she said.
So she posted her her YouTube link, and I was like, oh, I need to go see. But it was just a reel. Anyway. Before we get started, we are going to talk about the morning where Melanie disrupted my morning. Because I had plans to do other things. Monty had to do a temperament test. I think I did talk about this on the podcast. The original boarding school he went to closed down, so I had to find a new one.
Yep.
So anyway, he was in solitary confinement with this place because he wasn't neutered. So I got him neutered. So now that he can go into Gen Pop, they had to do a temperament.
Stop, like this man's in
They
jail.
had to do a temperament test. I know I told the people that too. And when I tell you, they were cracking up at me. I was like, yeah, he was in solitary confinement, but now he gets to do Gen Pop. So anyway, before he can go to Gen Pop, they have to do a temperament test for him. Mm-hmm. And so I took him, and the guy called me and was like, this is probably the easiest temperament test I've ever done on any dog in the history of my career.
What?
He is the easiest, most happy-go-lucky dog I have ever met. And I was like, I'm so happy you said that, because I think he is. He was literally asking me. I was like, I feel like you're asking me this like it's Isaiah or Josiah. So he's like, how does he do with people? And I'm like, Monty loves people. How does he do with dogs? I was like, he loves dogs. I said in the beginning, he could be a little skeptical, like, hey, who are you? What are you doing? Yeah. What's your vibes? What's going on? But then after that, like, Monty's like, hey, what's up? It's like he's no problem. Like, he loves people. He's like, okay, how does he do with big dogs versus small dogs? And I was like, I wasn't prepared for this question. I don't exactly know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, honestly, he's such a like social dog. I don't think he has outside of like the initial like, hey. I was like, I think he's fine. So anyway, he was like, literally, he loves every handler.
Oh.
He was good with the big dogs. He was good with the small dogs. He was like, I know you warned me about the little temperament thing. He was like, literally, he did that, and then he was totally fine.
Wow.
So anyway, I'm very excited. So tomorrow we have to drop him off because we're going to be gone a month before we head to the HBCU tour and some other stuff we have planned. So after I dropped Monty off, I had plans to come home.
Wait, that was this morning?
Yes.
Oh, girl.
We worked out, came home, we got the cars cleaned, I got my carpet cleaned, I dropped Monty off, and then I was going to review our docket.
Oh, you were trying to be productive today.
Yes. I listen, nothing motivates me like the time right before I go on vacation. I promise you, I get everything that's on my to-do list, I'm checking off. So yes, my carpet got cleaned this morning. Yes, it did. My cars got cleaned this morning. My rug that I need to return is outside my house. Actually, I meant to call them and I didn't have time. That was the only thing I didn't do. But I was like doing all these things. But then I got distracted. Melanie sends this text that says, oh, thank you. I love my hair color too.
It looks good.
Mel sends this text that says, Travis is on the stand if y'all care to watch. Who is Travis, Melanie?
Travis Rudolph, the NFL player who is right now on trial for first-degree murder that I talked about last week. And girl,
wait, you got to give a recap for the people who didn't listen last week. What happened?
So back in April of 2021.
This trial is crazy.
So great. Thank y'all. For everybody who sent it to me, shout out to y'all. Because I was not into it. And then I'm like all in. So Travis Rudolph in April of 2021 was dating Dominique. I think her last name is Jones. Dominique Jones. They have been together for about a year, according to her. He says that they were like together, not together. He was like F-boying it up, right? Like, yeah, that she like cool. So, because he ain't got no exes, according to him, right? He's on those vibes. So what happened is she had checked his phone, and when she checked it, she saw that he was texting a girl named Kyla. And so when he came in the house, he had went outside with his brother at the house. He comes inside, and she's like, who is Kyla? So they basically get into this argument, disagreement, whatever, because she's like, you're cheating, you messing with somebody, etc. At this point, mind you, he had played in the NFL, but he had not been re-signed. So he had just gotten signed to go play with a team in Canada. So he is preparing to go and do that. So he's home. They get into it. And eventually it gets violent. She says that he was slamming her. He says that she was hitting him, broke the PlayStation, being very destructive, etc. So it's a really bad situation. So they get into it, and eventually she leaves. She leaves the house. And when she leaves, or as she's leaving, she is saying to him and to his brother, I'm going to have my brother, her brother, come F you up. And he says, F you up and kill you. She also proceeds to text and call his mother and his sister with those same threats. Yep. He didn't messed up. He messed with the wrong person. My brother finna come F him up. She also apparently sends a text message to her brother that says, shoot his shit up. Okay, those are the texts. So what happens? Brother comes and friends comes with 3 other men. So it's a total of 4 men. They pull up to Travis's house, bang on the door. Travis has cameras, or it's his mama house. They have cameras everywhere because his father had previously died. He had gotten shot.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
And they were saying it's an accident, but that seems a little sketch, like they have feelings about it. And so as a result of Travis's father being killed, the mother is very like antsy and anxious, and so she has cameras put all around the house. And so on camera you see the Dominique's brother and 3 other men bang on the door, and Travis's brother comes to the door, and they're like, where's Travis? Travis eventually comes outside. A fight ensues. They start jumping him essentially. Travis runs in the house, gets his gun, his firearm, comes outside. He ends up shooting something like 39 times. And the brother's friend, his name was Sebastian, not the brother's friend Sebastian, ends up getting shot and dies in the car. And so Travis is now charged with first-degree murder because of Sebastian's death. So the trial has been going on. The brother has testified, great testimony. The girlfriend, Dominique, has testified. Even the brother got up and testified. The mom, I missed the mom's testimony, but the mom has testified. This morning, though,
Travis was on the stand.
Travis was called to the witness stand. So I had to send the text in the group chat like, Travis is on the stand if you want to watch. The problem is
I watched.
And it sucked you in.
It sucked me. I'm going to tell you right now, they said the mom did good. That, first of all, one of the first thoughts that I had was to have a conversation with my boys about leaving toxic women alone. Because that was his number one mistake. Was not listening to his brother. Tell him, leave that girl alone.
She ain't no good.
This woman is fully married.
And
got
separated.
the nerve. Fully married. And got the nerve to be mad at you for having other dealings. It's the audacity for me. And the girl was violent, hitting him over the head. God bless him. This man is clearly, he seems like he comes from a good home. I don't know all of it, but just from what I saw, I haven't seen anyone else's testimonies. But it seemed, because he's like, I don't know, my mama's antsy, because my daddy died. And so she put this camera, the word he was searching for was blind spot. He was like, she got this camera, but you can't see everything. So she got another camera so you can see everything. Basically, the camera had a blind spot. She didn't feel secure. So she got another camera to cover the blind spot. So they say, you got the app on your phone. I do. I didn't log in though. I don't even know the password.
The modem, everything was in your room. Yeah, she put it in there because I was complaining about the internet. I didn't.
Because my PlayStation though.
I was trying to play.
It ain't got nothing to do.
Nothing.
You know how to work the app? Nah, I don't even really know.
No.
I don't know what the app is called, to be honest. She did tell me to put it on my phone though.
Yes.
I was like, I told them, I believe every word that man said.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a couple times I was like, that probably didn't exactly happen like that. But for the most part, I believe every word that man said.
Absolutely. Yes.
I really, really, really hope that he is able to
I hope so.
be found not
gets
guilty.
Off because they came to his house. And the thing about this is when it first happened, he tried the plea was stand your ground. Florida is a stand your ground state, and that is what he said happened. The judge said no, apparently, and so that is why it had to become a jury trial. And so, but when you hear even everybody's testimony, because you can go back and forth about if he hit her when they was going back and forth, or she hit him. Right. You can go back and forth about that. You can go back and forth about if he was cheating on her. Cheating, but you're married, so girl, let's talk about that.
And he didn't know.
And he had no idea
know she was married
until this trial. So she there's all of these like back and forths. What seems to now be very clear, because I think I said this in the last episode, was like if they really had a gun and if they didn't have a gun. But the brother actually did testify. He said that he had a gun and he threw it. So all of that. But I think what it comes down to is, did they have a gun? Yes. Did they come to your house?
Correct.
In a threatening manner? They didn't come to say hi.
Exactly.
They came at 11 or midnight.
The thing
to fight and to shoot.
And to shoot you. The thing about it is this, which is hard to say because I know the law doesn't work this way, but I asked myself, do I feel like you acted reasonable?
Right.
I don't think there was anything he did that was excessive or not reasonable based on the circumstance. It is so easy to pay, what is it called? Monday night quarterback?
Hello?
Is that what it's called?
I don't know what that is.
Child, I'm looking to Cam to tell me. Is it called Monday night quarterback? It's basically because they play the games on Sunday, and then on Monday you know what they shoulda, woulda did.
Oh,
that I felt. Hindsight's 20/20. That's what I'm trying to say.
I see.
You fool me once, you can't fool me twice. Because you fool me twice. The point is. Monday morning quarterback. There we go.
Got it.
The point is that it is so ezy today to be like, well, you chased them. Why'd you do that?
Right.
My brother was there.
Yes.
That's why I chased them.
Yes.
Well, it was so easy because you sure you saw the gun? I just got my behind with my brother for 10 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Yes, my life was in danger.
Yep.
Like everything seemed to be rational.
Yeah, absolutely.
Reasonable.
Yep.
And like a reaction that was proportional to the circumstances at hand. And that's why I feel like, no, he needs to be found not guilty.
I agree.
This was self-defense.
One of the other things that was interesting actually is that before the brother, Dominique's brother, and the other guy went to the house, her brother looked up his injuries, was looking up because the reason that he wasn't playing was because he had a torn ACL. He was trying out for the Miami Dolphins. During the trial,
he was trying to end that man's career for real.
Well, what I was trying to figure out is, were you trying to, for one, either re-injure him, or were you trying to evaluate your threat?
Oh, I see.
You're trying to understand what exactly is he still down?
Yeah.
How much of the problem is this going to be? Because he's obviously an NFL player and you could have a bunch of assumptions about what it means and what you look like when you are an NFL player. Just quickly though, one of the other things you probably have a lot of assumptions about is how video games are made.
Yes.
And one of our sponsors today, Double Fine, is to share with you that you can go watch their documentary about the games that they made. It's a lot of episodes, but what's really interesting is that it's over 5,000 hours of footage, and it's a detailed look at the blood, sweat, and tears of real people pouring their hearts into every pixel that they create. It's unprecedented honesty from an industry renowned for secrecy, and it's here to give you the information you need to counter pointless speculation on the internet. So I started watching the documentary. And what was interesting, kind of just like I said, it's like a bunch of footage that they have just captured over like 7 years of them building this business and building these games and going into the background of it all. So it's actually really, really fascinating.
And who do we talk to, Mel?
And we talked to one of the guys who works there now.
Yeah.
And he was telling us, he was like, you got to get to episode 17.
Yeah.
Because there's some tea in there. And I was like, well, listen, we love some drama.
Yes,
we love a little tea. We got a whole reality TV section of our podcast. So actually, I'm planning to watch that one this week to skip ahead to number 17 to see, because there's a woman in there and some things happen with her. So anyway, I'm really, really looking forward to catching up on that. So you can watch the entire series for free with no ads right now in 4K with real captions made by a human on YouTube. Go to doublefine.com/GJ to start your PsychOdyssey. That's doublefine.com/GJ.
GJ.
To start your PsychOdyssey now.
I wanted to make sure, we may have been unclear about this, but I wanted to say this because someone said that sounds like premeditation, which may have been we just miscommunicated.
What?
The brother of the girlfriend looked up, let me say it correctly.
His name is Tyler.
Okay. Tyler is Dominique's brother.
Yes.
Travis is the football player.
I know their name, T and R's.
Man.
All of a sudden, it's like the same name.
So Tyler.
Yes.
Looked up Travis's injuries before he came to his house to beat him up.
Yes, with his friends.
Yes, with his friends. So I want to make sure, because I don't think we, if that was unclear, I just want to make sure it was clear, because, one of two things are happening. You want to understand your threat, or B, you want to make sure, or I'm sorry, sometimes people be real spiteful, like, nah, nigga, you did this to my sister. I'm finna make sure you never play football again. I'm gonna get you in your ACL again.
Yeah.
That's just, the whole thing is bananas. And I know he's being crossed right now, which I wanted to understand, because I thought his lawyer did a good job with him on, on the stand. I feel like something's in my nose.
No.
I hate that.
There's
a hair?
I was gonna say, you have a small hair right here that's probably bothering you. Yep.
God, thank you. So anyway, child, this is a mess.
It's good. You guys have to watch.
What state are they in?
It's Florida, girl.
Of course, we looked this up.
Florida. You have to watch. It's on I Follow Law and Crime on YouTube. It's a channel. And so if you go to that channel, you can see.
Yeah, I'll post
Law
the link
and
again.
Crime Network. That's it. You got it?
Yeah, I posted the link earlier.
Okay. I was, listen, let me tell y'all. For a second, if I had the Patreon, I was finna send it in y'all Patreon.
I almost did.
I was finna be like, y'all.
I almost did.
Watch.
And I just got sidetracked, but I literally almost did. It's very interesting. I'm intrigued to hear. I might go back and watch his cross, because I am intrigued to hear like the direction she's going, because he came across as very believable to me.
And she did not on hers, and her brother also very hostile, and it was very, they're not likable, and therefore like not believable. And the stuff that she's saying, it just doesn't seem, his stuff is very, it makes sense. It's rational, plausible.
Yeah.
You feel like you would do the same.
Absolutely.
You feel scared. And then understanding their history too, then we can get off this. But like understanding that their father was shot and killed. And the mother, that's why she had the cameras. And then even understanding that Travis, yes, he's an NFL player, but and he said, I hang around with a lot of NFL players, a lot of people who people may be jealous of, want to get robbed. And I got a gun for safety. It was after my dad died. And he didn't just recklessly or irresponsibly get a gun. Yeah. It's registered, and he went to the range frequently. Yeah. He said he had 2 guns, and he would go and he would be, sharpening his skills and making sure he can shoot responsibly. Even when he was on the stand when they were away from him, when they were away from me, I'm not shooting.
Yeah.
Well, he had a gun, he put it by the door, but he came out without it on
gun.
him the first time. So he wasn't trying to have a problem,
right?
But he did respond when he felt like there was a threat. So again, it has been interesting, fascinating, and also really, really sad because that man did lose his life, and
all these other people being impacted by it.
And homegirl.
And I'm really hoping, Dominique, I really hope that she is tried. She needs to be charged with something.
She should.
She needs to be charged with something.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go into, long story short, really quick, this is funny. Melanie has a birthday in like tomorrow. I didn't realize it was tomorrow.
I know. I don't feel like it.
Mel's whole birthday is tomorrow.
June 6th, Gemini stand up.
6/6 is Melanie's birthday.
Yeah, and Joshy's. Yep.
And Joshua's birthday. And so we were going to talk about, first of all, how do you feel about turning
36?
Okay, I was literally, I got to do math. How am I? Subtract 4.
I know.
So 36 years old. How do you feel about turning a whole 36?
I don't know. I usually, actually, before I say that, let me just also say, we were texting whenever we were, and the fact that Kevin has known me since I was 12, so that is what, 24 years?
That's crazy. Kev is literally, he was doing the math because of course that's very Kevin. He was like, percentage wise, he's known you a greater portion of your life than he's known me.
Got it. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. So yeah, that's hilarious that he's been around that long. But regardless, I feel this is a weird birthday for me. I am usually like very excited about my birthday. I like do everything for my birthday. Outside of like nails, hair, toes, I like outside of just feeling fabulous and doing things like that, I love to be like on a vacation somewhere. Like that is my MO. And this year, like none of the things that I think I wanted to happen are like happening, at least not right now. Not like for
also
my actual birthday.
Also, Mexico just got postponed, but I'll tell you why.
Oh.
Because you were along the same track of like what you wanted to do for your birthday at the same time. That's one of the like, it's not.
So yes. So anyway, all of that to say, I'm like, okay, maybe this is a part of growing up. Maybe this is a part of being an adult, that like your priorities change, and like the fabulous whatever things that used to be I would absolutely do are not going to happen, and that's okay.
Are you telling yourself that's okay, or are you actually okay?
Both. I had to tell myself that that's okay so that I can like be okay with it.
Do you guys have delayed plans?
No, girl.
Is Mexico the delayed plan?
Yes, girl.
Well, that's my delayed plan too. So.
Oh well, listen. Yeah. So I mean, but it's fine. I am
36. How do you feel about turning 36?
Well, I don't know. In my mind, it's still 35. I think when I get closer to like 40, then it'll be like 40. But I'm like 30. It's just a year after 35. It still feels 35. I might. Still say
but you're closer. You're
another...
now officially closer to 40 than you are.
I mean,
30.
fair. It don't feel like that though. I'm probably still gonna say 35 for a little while.
Oh, you gonna age down?
Just gonna say that it feels fine to do.
So you don't have no dealings, no feelings about 36?
No, not really. I mean, I am in this phase of life that's like, oh, girl, what are you doing? Like, I didn't feel like this is where I would be at 36.
Yeah.
And so reconciling that has been interesting. Like, girl. So it's less about the age. Well, I guess it's a combination of the age and like, I don't know where I thought I would be at 36, but it's not like where I am. But also, that's okay. So what does it mean?
Listen, I think a lot of us have these existential crisis questions that come around our birthdays. I know I certainly do. And sometimes you need a third-party therapist to talk them through. And that is why BetterHelp is here, and this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. You all know that we are huge proponents of therapy, and the reason why is because you know, Kevin and I are exercising, but you also need to exercise your mental health, okay? Sometimes that includes, or oftentimes that includes, talking with a third party that can give you some insights, some interventions, some skills to help you navigate life. We have greatly benefited from therapy, not only in our personal lives, but even in our marriage, in my parenting, and how I show up in the world, all of those things. BetterHelp is awesome because you don't even have to leave the comfort of your own home. You get matched with a therapist, and you can do this anywhere, in your car, in your garage, in your bedroom, at the park. If you got Wi-Fi, child, they are there for you. You get to choose how you want to connect with your therapist. And if you connect with someone that you don't really like, or, you know, it's just not really vibing the way you thought it would vibe, BetterHelp is there to help you break up with them, so there's no awkward, you know, it's not you, it's me moment. You got to figure it out and avoid, you know, all of those things. Although if you find a good therapist, they can help you get over those fears, so that way you can do those things, because it's part of life as well. So BetterHelp can help you find more balance. Visit betterhelp.com/GJ today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/GJ.
GJ.
Okay, so 36. I agree, though. I think birthdays are a reflection period. It's so interesting that you say you don't know where you'd be, but you're not quite sure it looked like this.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's life in a nutshell.
Well, hello.
Is that we have these images, but they're not fully defined.
Mm-hmm.
Of where we believe we would be, and then when you line up your reality to like this undefined, vague image of what you thought, it's never quite that.
Amen.
How are you? So are you processing that, or is that okay with you?
No, it is. I'm not. I'm kind of probably not thinking about it, because it's like I don't really want. I recognize that this is not where I thought I would be. To your point, I don't know where it would be. And so, girl, okay, but this is where you are. So
that's
now
good
what?
Though too, because
So
then you allow yourself to go with the flow a little bit without putting the pressure of figuring it out.
Well,
hello.
It's not that like allowing myself to go with the flow, or like not the pressure. It's more of like I'm gonna ignore.
Oh, I see.
The feelings
Got
that
it.
I actually have.
Very
and
good.
Instead, I'm gonna just carry on with life, because life has to go on.
We love this for you. Yes, BetterHelp/GJ. Okay. Okay. So we have the. Oh yes, we can talk about the Ministry of the Photos in the Loft. That's part of my long story short. But before we do that, we want to talk about our favorite birthdays.
Oh yes, that and since my birthday is tomorrow, what are your favorite?
You want me to go first?
Yes.
My favorite. Oh, so I'm gonna actually say my favorite birthday was when during COVID and we had that surprise. Oh no.
Wait, which one?
I know. I just realized
you
I'm
had
talking
two
about
great
both
birthdays back to back
during COVID.
Yes.
So the first one though was after the Love Hour conference.
Yes.
So after the Love Hour conference, we were in the we should not have had nobody at our house,
No,
okay?
we
Because my
shouldn't
birthday's
have.
in July.
Yes.
And COVID was March of that same year.
Yes.
Okay. So like, to be honest, that's why we didn't record it, which now I kind of regret. That one and the other one. Was that my birthday? Or did we just decide to go to Palm Springs?
No, that was your birthday.
Okay. So that was my other one. Okay. So
it was the same birthday.
we did that the same year?
Yeah, as the
I
Love
thought
Hour.
they were the different.
No.
Okay, so let me tell y'all the whole thing that we was doing that we shouldn't have been doing, but did none of us get sick because Greg had already been sick, so it wasn't our fault. So Kev and Kenny. So after the Love Hour conference, which you guys probably know, but in the event you aren't familiar, I had planned it to be in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, COVID came. I had to go virtual.
Yep.
Because we went virtual, we ended up shifting the dates a little bit, or maybe it was always that way. Regardless, it ended up ending on my birthday. So Kevin had, I was upstairs crying,
Yes,
snot
you
nosing
were.
because I was so overwhelmed that like it was done, it was successful. We had all of these issues with
Yes.
the tech, and we ended up
Uh-huh.
getting on the phone with the It was just a whole entire mess, and I was like overcome with emotion that I was like, like relieved, to be honest, that it was like done. I finally finished this huge undertaking. Close out. I walk downstairs. This is when we lived in Calabasas. I walk downstairs and I see Sharice, which I think you guys are familiar with, but there are friends from Chicago that we've known like since my boys were like 5, like quite literally. They were there. Mel, obviously. Were Nick there too? Or did they come later?
No, they weren't there yet.
Okay, so like Keon and his wife was there. Tony and Sabrina was there. Angel and Marcus was there. I don't even remember everybody that was there. It was a surprise that like Farron and Tahir were there. I came downstairs and I immediately just like started screaming and took off running because I was like, how are all these people here? And they had like food that he was cooking out and everything. It was just super, 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 super amazing. And just like, it was a great way to end such a like chaotic weekend of events from the Love Hour conference. So yeah, that was great. And then I didn't realize this was the same year.
Yes, the next day.
So then the next day.
So there was a full party.
Yes.
We had a full party that night in your backyard, catered food. That was
argued about
Beyonce.
Beyonce.
That's when we argued about Beyonce. It was a whole thing. And then the next day, the rest of the fly-ins flew in.
Tammy, my sister,
the kids, Monique,
Keita,
and everybody came, flew in, and then we drove to Palm Springs.
And we were there. We rented these.
It was two homes, but they were connected through a backyard.
Yes.
And so the Airbnb, the lady. It was perfect, basically.
It was
perfect because there were so many people, and we all had kids, and it was
I did do a vlog. I must have released the vlog late then.
Oh, probably.
Okay.
So then we had the kids in one house, or actually no, we were all just everywhere.
We were all just kind of everywhere.
We were just everywhere.
We had a chef. Oh, it was. I need to rewatch it then.
I know.
We had a chef there. The kids were playing outside in the pool.
They kept backflipping into
the
pool.
We played games.
Yeah.
We ate. When I tell you, it was a time.
It was a good time.
Man, we sat up and talked and giggled, and the food was amazing. The chef made us taco. He cooked all the meals.
Yeah.
Man, we had a fantastic time. That's probably one of my favorites. And then the other one was my surprise, not surprise, all white party.
Oh yeah.
From a couple years ago. And again, Shari and Sharice, Jay flew in.
Yep.
That's the one. Jay was in the camera. I'm probably gonna post this every year now, but he's like in the camera singing. We did the what is this?
A swag surf.
Yes, and Jay is like low key trying to MC the whole thing, like that, and all the kids were there. Keita came with her kids, and of course they can dance.
Everybody came out.
Tam, Jay, Kayla, Julian, my boys, my sister, her kids, like everybody was there, and that was in Orange County.
Yep.
And low-key, them people were acting a whole donkey, though.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they were acting a donkey. Our friend Nicole came, which you guys don't know these people necessarily, but they're friends we knew in high school.
Years ago.
And that we're all still really, really close to. So anyway, those were my favorite, by far.
Those were fun.
Some of my favorite birthdays.
Those were for sure fun. I would say mine, like I said, I love a good vacation for my birthday. I love a good beach on my vacation. I enjoy that. So one of my favorite ones would probably be, I'm trying to remember, Greg and I went to Jamaica, but I can't remember if it was for my birthday or our anniversary. I'm always trying to go for those two things.
Go somewhere
We should be somewhere.
Yeah.
So I don't remember if it was Jamaica was my birthday or our anniversary. And then we also did a trip to Bahamas early when we first got together, because literally, like, I've always been vacation girl. So, like, early in our actually, our first trip, Greg, we needed a vacation. We went, the first trip we ever went on together, we went to the cabins in Georgia. We did a cabin trip, he and I, and we like went jet skiing for the first time. We went to this, it was like Benihana, the hibachi restaurant, and he tipped $20, and I was like, Baller.
Oh, he got money.
Oh, he got
that's
money.
a large.
Oh my gosh.
A large.
Yeah, he tipped $20 and it was like a massive deal. So that one, it was just fun. That was just like a fun, I had never been to the cabins and had always wanted to. So that was really fun. And then I feel like the next year we went to the Bahamas, and that was like my first time at a all-inclusive resort.
Oh, that's fun.
I think I turned 26. It was like my 26th birthday.
Dang,
so like
that's
10
10 years ago.
That one was really, really fun. It was like through my job, we had like a discount. And so I just thought we were like living it up, and it was like liquor is included. So we just were like drunk. There's this hilarious video of us at the club from that trip, and we're just drunk off our behinds.
Are you including it?
And what?
Are you including the clip in this episode for the people?
Oh, if I can find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be great for the people.
If I can find it, I will. But anyway, my point is I just love a good trip. Any vacation, all inclusive, those are my jams. Where I can just sit and do nothing, those are like my favorite birthdays.
You know, this Mexico trip, we was going to be working though a little bit in there.
That's fine.
Okay. I just want to make, because Kev was like, it's not really a vacation. I was like, I extended it by a couple of days so we can vacation too. But like, also I'm excited to do the work.
But it was, okay, girl. The rip the dress, that's probably, I have always been a birthday girl. Rip my dress was for my birthday too.
Oh, was it? I thought it was a homecoming thing.
No.
It was
Rip
a
the
birthday.
dress was my birthday. Homecoming was when my phone and my money and everything got stolen.
Well, that happened to you too many times. That happened to
But
you
rip
many
my
times.
dress. That was, I didn't go nowhere, but we ripped our dress at the club, and it was a good time.
Well, we love that for you. Okay. All right. Anything else on that?
That's it.
Okay, favorite birthdays. Oh, so we're gonna do our Pop the Trunks, but you guys submitted Pop the Trunks to us.
Yes.
So Mel, you're gonna read them?
Yes.
I didn't edit them.
Okay.
That was my morning routine.
I have.
Are you gonna summarize?
1, 2,
Because they're
3.
long.
I know we have 4 of them that are like good. And I'm trying to figure out which one I want to tell. There's 4. Maybe I'll do 2 of the 4. How was that feel?
That's fine.
Before I get into our hilarious stories that you guys have sent us for Pop the Trunk, I want to tell you to pop your health. Is that a thing? I'm just kidding. Don't pop your health. Care of. That's what we're going to talk about. Care of is a subscription service that ships high quality personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders conveniently to your door every month. Health is deeply human, and it has to be personal. So Care of is there to help you find what works for you. The app helps you build a holistic routine and tracks your progress over time. Plus, you can earn rewards for sticking with your healthy habits. All you have to do is take a short, in-depth quiz about your lifestyle and health goals for a personalized, doctor-backed recommendation. The quiz can be retaken at any time to switch up your packs as your lifestyle and needs change. So it's very, very simple. You go on the website, you answer the survey, and then they tailor make a subscription or like a package, basically vitamins for you. And like I said, you can like change at different times your priorities, or maybe what you're wanting may change. Maybe you had a kid recently and you want more energy. Not even recently, kids in general will exhaust you. So maybe you want some more energy. They have supplements that they can subscribe or put in your package for that. Maybe you have some gut health things you want to get better at, so they have stuff for that. So it's very, very, like I said, very easy and personalized, which is amazing because everybody's needs and wants are different. So all you have to do is, for 50% off your first Care of order, go to takecareof.com and enter code GJ50.
GJ50.
That is takecareof.com and enter code GJ50.
GJ50.
For 50% off of your first Care of order. Get your health on.
Very good. Before you go into that, or while you're pulling those up, I've had a Simba saga going on my Instagram really quickly. I want to make sure I said it.
Yep.
The lions are up. I just want you guys to know.
I like them.
I put all 3 of them up. I realized that people didn't understand that the way that I had them was just for staging, so people can just get the ideas. But it was just for staging. I pulled out the frames. It's full-face lions,
I like it.
and there's 3 of them. I think they look good. I'm
Come
sorry.
on, Lion King.
Yes. What do they call it? Pride Loft is in full effect.
Loft.
Pride Loft is
That's
in
great.
full effect.
That's hilarious.
And if I paint, this is the thing you have to.
Oh, are you gonna paint?
I think you need to use your Holy Ghost imagination.
All right.
If I painted the wall black,
Okay.
had the paintings on there, that's fire.
That is fire.
Yes, with the gold frame. I might get a little thicker a little thicker frame. So that way it's really giving the vibes. But listen, y'all gonna have to come after these stock photos. That's not stock photos, okay? Y'all gonna have to come after me because low-key, and this was the thing. Someone said it in the comments. I'm like, I'm gonna try it. When I was looking at them like this, it was blurry and fuzzy than a mug. I was like, this is not giving what I imagined it would give. When I put it in the frame,
fabulous.
I don't know why when you step from afar, it's sharpened. The image came together.
Amen.
So I just want y'all to know that y'all can vote again because I might take some more votes as I do this whole homeowner's journey and decorating my house. It's collaborative. I just also have veto power.
Amen. Absolutely.
So that's what I just need you guys to know. But like, I'd like to get y'all opinion and get y'all activated because y'all was all in my DMs. Pop in. You hear me?
Yes.
Pop in. I enjoy it. I have a
Hilarious.
cackle. I have a good time. I enjoy reading them. Roast me.
Roast.
I enjoy it. I'm still keeping the lions up.
I like it. I'm a fan. I'm gonna have a photo shoot up there.
Listen, I'm just saying. I'm keeping it
Pride
up.
Loft. That's great. That is great.
All right, let's go to the monster track.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with this one because it could be, well, it's relatable for me. Well, let me just tell you. So first of all, the subject heading was "So she's your sis." Pop the MF trunk. Okay.
She used MF, not TF, but that made sense to me.
Yes.
Okay.
So it all started in 2008 when me and my high school sweetheart got together. He's 2 years older than me. He graduated a year earlier and went to college out of state. 2 years later, I follow his lead and go to school where he is. So before I got up there, he had his own little crew. He's a football player, going to parties and doing what college students do. So I was impressed, but low-key jealous because I moved to go where he is, right? So they was going to go shack up and like go be together. But like he had his own like situation before she came. So he's kind of more established. He would often go with one of his football friends to a super country part of Ohio, Lima, and would call him FaceTime often. So him leaving wasn't a big problem at first. Mind you, he's all of a sudden got this specific friend, sis, that's been in contact with him every so often.
Mind you already told me everything I need to know. Already told me everything I need to know. I know where the story going.
Since my senior year in high school and even called on video. Okay, so since her senior year in high school, he's had this friend. And this friend even called on her the day of her prom to see her dress. So she felt like, so she's like, it's kind of comforting because she obviously don't want you if she trying to like be a friend to me.
Right.
Fast forward to 2014, he graduates and we decided to go to the courthouse and get married. She decided school wasn't for her mainly because she was because he was leaving to go back to GA.
She was trying to be with him.
She didn't, exactly. So she went into the military. Okay. She graduates boot camp and moves to he moved to Washington. He moved to Washington, my first duty station, and I think they moved because they're married now.
Yeah.
So she moves to Washington. They moved to Washington. It's her first duty station, and they still were in contact. So she does some research, aka phone bill diving.
Wait, is she still in boot camp? That's why he moved to Washington State, or
no?
She said they stayed in contact. She met with the friend.
With the friend, the sis,
got it.
The sis.
Okay, the sis girl.
Yes. So, and she sees he's been like talking to this girl more than normal. Okay. So his excuse is the football bro had a family. So one of his football friends had a family reunion and he wasn't doing anything. Oh, so she must still be, they must be separate at different, they're not together. I mean, they're together, but not physically in the same place.
Yep.
So he goes to the football bro, he goes to his football bro's family reunion. At that point, I told him to lose contact with the sis or he's going to see the Atlanta side of me.
Because her research dictated y'all was doing too much. That's more than sister brother.
Still talking to the sis.
All right.
So she said, enough is enough. He goes a couple months without contact, but when I was on deployment, so she is now deployed, I'm assuming Iraq or she's somewhere else.
Deployed when you're military is when you are like away from your family for an extended period of time.
So, but when I was on deployment, I seen on AT&T Mobile, he was back in contact with sis.
Oh, Lord.
He also decided he wanted to go back to Conyers, Georgia, because his mom had just had surgery. So they're from Conyers, but had lived in Ohio for school. Okay.
Because she's deployed. So now he's in their first duty station with nobody there.
Himself.
And she's gone. So he's like, I don't want to be here by myself.
I want to go home.
Let me go home.
So she's like, and he's like, my mama just had surgery. So she says, okay, makes sense. So I contacted him at my first port. No answer. So I contacted his mom. She gives the runaround, asking about my deployment schedule, how I've been, etc. Then goes to tell me that he had to help his friend move from Ohio to Kansas. So I instantly knew
it was sis.
Yes. Let me turn my light up. So she ends up sending the longest text message to him, stating how once we got married, he's become the most inconsiderate person, not the person I knew, and told him to just stay with his mama till I come back. So we done, essentially. And we will see how to move forward when I get back. He never replied. So I called his mom on day 3 and let her know he cannot come back until we have an understanding. 2.5 months later, I came home. So she was like deployed.
Yeah, she was gone.
So she comes back home 2.5 months later, and she comes to an empty house minus her clothes and little to no money in my account with a pink eviction notice on my door, and my car is gone. He stopped automatic payments for the apartment and instead took the money out and was keeping it for himself and took some extra. I had to have called him 10 times within an hour with no answer. Then called his mom, and she literally said, oh, I helped him move and drove the other car back. A month later, I filed for an uncontested divorce and wanted to move forward fast. So fast forward to 2019, I'm married with a child, and my sister says, girl, your crusty ex just had a baby. So naturally, because I feel conflicted to ask my sister, sent me a pic, and it's by, so she sends a picture, and it's by
sis.
The same girl who he continued to say she a single mom of 2 kids and 2 baby daddies. I don't want her. She's just like my sister.
Not him dogging
her.
I
wanted to see so bad to his mom, who was slightly trying to say, maybe like show her.
I wanted to see about her.
Oh, go. I got it. To say I was insecure and needed to chill, but I just moved on and laughed. So can we pop the trunk on the whole brother sister crap, please?
Yes, girl. Yeah, you can't have a sis with me that's not your sister.
Hello.
Y'all have to have came from the same hole.
Hello.
Or the same sperm. Otherwise, that's not your sis. Therefore, anything can go down. Listen to me. Yeah, no, girl. And this is the thing. I say this all the time, that people, but specifically women, are labeled insecure all the time.
Yes.
And half the time that be your intuition, your instincts telling you something ain't wrong. That insecurity sometimes it not only is it legit, sometimes it's your alarm system. Telling you this is not right. Don't ignore that. Don't let them folks call you insecure.
Yep.
Girl, no. Bye. And this is the thing, he dogged her the whole marriage. She got this, 2 kids, baby daddy. She got this. And then you gonna lay down with her and have a whole baby with her.
A whole baby. Child. That used to be like a huge thing at, this is slightly it's different. But like at Spelman, because the brother school, not officially actually, but anyway, is Morehouse. So when you're a freshman, one of the part of like orientation, you get there early, and at the end of it you get assigned a Morehouse brother. So they literally you're coming out of the Spelman gate and the men are kind of lined up, and whoever you meet is literally your Morehouse brother. So like I got assigned a Morehouse brother, and everybody a lot of people ended up sleeping with their Morehouse brothers.
I can see that.
I did not.
Are you guys still in contact?
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
Yep.
I never met him.
You didn't?
I don't even know his name.
Beezy?
I literally have never
Huh.
heard this name before.
He's cool. Like we were like cool all 4 years, and like we still, I mean, not like text each other, but like on social media and stuff, we keep up with each other. I remember his birthday's in January. Actually, it's around low-key around Greg's. But I always will send a happy birthday message, and he said congrats on like everything. But like a lot of people, I don't really do the whole cis bro thing. That's just not for me, amen, and not for me or mine, amen. But y'all can do what y'all want because stuff like this happen. I ain't got time.
Even the husband wives. What is it called?
Brother
work
wives.
husbands. No, work husbands is what I was looking for.
Oh.
Work husband, work wives.
Yeah.
Kev is very anti that as well. I never got down with that because I never did that anyways. But I know of these people who are work husband, work wives, and then they ended up sleeping together.
But wait, because you do, there are people that you like become cool with at your work.
Absolutely. And I technically, by like what the definition is, I had a work husband,
right?
But we never labeled it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I had a guy that I worked with. Like we moved to like maybe 2 branches together when I first started at a KeyBank. Actually, you know who it is?
Oh.
The guy that Jason and Kev wanted to beat up. Him.
Oh, well, hello.
Yes. We started, it's literally him. We ended up, after that conversation, like I had to have a conversation with him. After that, he's still my friend on Facebook today, right now.
Hilarious.
Today, right now. But he was like real cool after that. He just kind of had to be checked a little bit.
Yeah.
But after that, he was real cool. But like literally, we ended up going to like probably 2 different branches together because it's actually not that we went together. It's more that he changed job positions.
Oh.
He became he started selling annuities, insurance, mutual funds. I can't remember the exact word for it, but whatever. And so he would bounce around to different branches that he supported. And so we went from like working together, being co-workers when Kev and Jason were about to beat him up, to like being one of the guys that came in and supported our like higher stuff. Anyway, but like he's real cool. But I never said work husband.
No,
never
no.
work wife. That wasn't a thing.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, that was never a thing.
I was young too, but when I first started working at Cartoon Network, actually, I had what you would call a work husband. And this gentleman was a lot older than me. And when I look back on that now, he was wildly inappropriate and like offensive, and I wish
you can go back.
I could go back and check him. He is the person who, let me tell you how like I just was like, this doesn't feel right, but I don't know. He I always back in because Dad just taught us to back in. So I always back my car in. And one time he and I went to lunch, and when we came back and I backed in, and he was like, you know why Black people back in?
I can't believe he said that.
Yeah. If you don't know, he said Black people back in because they're basically going to rob a place, and so it's easier for them to get away if they're backed in. And I was like, yeah. But I was so young, and like corporate it has always my brain up, if I can be honest. Like that environment always like, how do I be myself here? Because what I really want to do is go off on you, but like, how do I not show my Blackness at the job? What does that mean? So like today's version of Melanie is like, oh, I wish I could go back and check you on a few things because, no, he was not. He was a white man, an older white man who now thinking back, I'm like, you were like a racist.
No, absolutely. He was January 6th. He said
so many things.
He was part of the insurrection.
He has said so many things that now I'm like, oh my gosh, Mel, why would you like be around that? So anyway,
there are a lot of work moments that I wish I could go.
Oh, girl.
That I wish I could go back and like either have a conversation, just straight up confront someone, or just like show my rump just
One
once.
time.
I always, and I think actually that's probably the energy Kevin and I are definitely on this year. I think I told you guys even on this podcast that I want to show my rump more often.
Oh yes.
I
What did you call
want-
it? You had a name. Getting ugly, acting ugly.
acting ugly. I do feel like more often than not, I keep my composure, and I more often want to act ugly. Like I more often want to be like, you didn't have to do all that.
Yes.
You really probably could have just like turned it down one notch, because I never do.
Yeah.
I like literally never do. And so yeah, if I can go back,
Girl. Oh, girl, don't even get me. Oh, girl.
you got a good one. What's another good one?
I have one where I turned up and I worked at a place in which we had a lot. Feedback was very, very important, right? Okay, so you can probably figure out which place I'm talking about. But anyway, we had to give honest feedback, and so at a certain period, it's like the review period, but instead of like writing a review at this place, you had to give verbal feedback,
Right.
Or like write feedback to the person. That's what you had to do. Write it during this time. So, but the point is that you're giving feedback all year round. So when you do the big major feedback, nothing is a surprise. That's
Right.
what feedback is. There should never be a surprise. And
Which I agree with.
I 100%, and I can be fine with feedback. Give me your feedback. If I did something that wasn't driving, let me know. So it was feedback time, and I got surprise feedback from one of my colleagues, and it was a white man, and he said basically that like I was aggressive, and the things that I would be asking him about, like my response to him was aggressive. Essentially was the feedback. And so I pulled up emails and then put time on his calendar to talk about them. So we go and sit down, and I have the emails, and I'm like, so show me here.
Like be specific.
Like be very specific, right?
Yeah.
Because if it actually is something I should work on, fine. Aggression as a Black woman is triggering,
Strong
right?
words.
That's feels intentional. So like, let me
feels
show me what
stereotypish.
you talking about.
Correct.
So we're in the meeting, he and I, and I'm pulling up the emails, and I'm like in my feelings, but I'm not like upset or not like angry, right? I'm just like, no, like let's be clear.
Yeah.
So by the end of it, he's like, no, you were right. I'm sorry. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So the problem is the feedback is in the system,
Right.
and all of the people you report to can
also see
it, right? So
And
then,
that colors how they see you.
absolutely. So I have a meeting with my direct manager, and a one-on-one. And so I was like, hey, just so you know, I had a meeting with this gentleman who said this about me. And by the end of it, he apologized because he was wrong, essentially. And then he said to me, well, how did you approach him? Were you aggressive
See,
about it?
That's coloring.
And so then I was like, just so that I'm clear, you're asking how I approached him, even though what I'm telling you is that what he
His feedback
said
was wrong.
And so much so that he apologized. And you're asking me how I approached him? And he was like, well, I just, and I don't even remember how that meeting ended. I was at that point, I was upset.
Now I'm upset.
Now I'm
upset.
Because now it feels like angry Black woman.
Absolutely.
And you're making oh my gosh, that was.
And that's how it starts. Because he said that, and now it colors how they
Now?
see you, and now everyone sees you as aggressive.
Yeah.
And you can't say when I tell you I struggle with this, I feel like to this day,
Oh,
I struggle
man.
with this. I had a similar situation. Mind you guys, on a good day, I'm 115 pounds. Okay? I just weighed myself, and I'm not even that. Okay? On a good day. 5'3", little bitty me. Working with these men that are when I talk about my last job, when I say upstairs, it's the repair station. The repair station manager, the one that accidentally on purpose, but I would say the wrong girl about the kid
about the
that
baby.
wasn't correct. Okay, him. Tall, probably 6'3". Okay, I almost said his name. Big guy. Okay, worked on cars. And that's only important because he did the, like, just so you could get an understanding of who he is, ponytail, beard.
Yeah.
He did, I don't know how he got into this, but he loves cars and stuff, and he would like soup them up and he would sell them to studios.
Oh, wow.
So he did stuff on like the Fast and the Furious, like
cool.
Transformers, this kind of stuff. Like he did it as like a side hustle for a little while, and it started to get overwhelming. He couldn't keep up with it, whatever, stressing him out, all this kind of stuff. But just so you get a picture of like who this like dude is.
Yeah.
Okay. He works in the repair station, but he's also a manager. I'm not a manager when I'm working at my last job. I was not a manager. I was more like a lead, but I was not a manager. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're doing, was it feedback? No, it wasn't feedback. Okay. His guys tell him that they don't like talking to me because I'm aggressive.
Oh, Lord.
And I said, I'm going to say the name Randy because I keep wanting to call his name. That's not his name, but I keep wanting to say a name. So I'm going to say Randy so I could not say his name. Yeah, like Jason Momoa, like tall, big dude, okay? Randy comes up to me. He's like, you know, the guys are saying they're having a hard time because they feel like when you ask them to do stuff that you're aggressive.
That's wild.
I said, Randy, me?
Girl.
No, it wasn't aggressive. No, I'm using the wrong. It was intimidating.
Intimidating?
It was intimidating. Because you're intimidating. It wasn't aggressive. Because you're intimidating. I said, the entire repair station is men. Not like, I mean, a few of them were younger, you know, early 20s-ish. But most of them are like grown.
Intimidating?
Grown. And intimidating was the word.
To men?
To grown men.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, okay, this is the thing. And that's what I'm saying. I can be direct, okay? I also can be really low-key, like a pushover. I really can be like really soft most of the time. But I also can be very direct. It just depends on like the circumstance, you know what I mean? And how fed up I am. So the thing about my job, the last job that I worked at, we had issues with quality. We had issues with timeliness.
Oh.
So typically what happens is we send a part to someone because we're trying to make a number. Mm-hmm. The part comes back because the quality is bad and it needs to be repaired. That's one instance. Or B, I mean, that was my instance specifically with the repair station. Or B, I'm on the phone with our customers because we told them a part would go out yesterday and now I'm telling them it's another month because we had issues with timeliness.
Right.
You know, like that's just kind of was my life at the time in procurement. Like literally that's what I did. So, well, between contracts and procurement. So anyway, I'm like, sir, first of all, we're talking about grown men that I'm looking up to. Okay. When I'm talking, we're not eye level. I'm looking up to them. But also, when I'm asking them for stuff, at this point, I've asked 50,000 times.
Right.
I just need an answer. I don't care if you tell me it's going to be 6 months, as long as you stay to the date of the 6 months. Because what happens is I have to go back and tell my customer.
And who gets yelled at?
And who gets yelled at?
You,
me,
not them.
Not them.
Yeah.
And I tell them all the time, look, my daddy used to tell me, I will stand in the gap for y'all. I will protect y'all. But y'all got to protect me.
Right.
I will fuss at a customer. I will tell a customer off. I will tell the customer that's not what I said.
You're right.
What I said was this day. I understand we was wrong. But what I told you was this day. We're driving to that day. We're going to make that day. I promise you it'll ship on that date. But if I tell them that.
And then it don't.
And then I go upstairs and check. Hey, are we still on time for this to come out tomorrow?
Right.
And you tell me no, it's done slid 2 weeks. Now I'm going to punch you in the face.
Right.
It ain't going to go nowhere.
Right.
Because I'm 5'3" and 115 pounds. I'm not going to hurt you. But I want you to think. And I want you to know that I am frustrated.
Yeah.
But intimidating.
Girl.
Now, Randy, stop. Oh, I want you to cut it out. I do. I kind of want you to cut it out. I wish, though, that I was one of those Black women that could, like, decide that as a personality and go forward in it. There's some women who can, like, literally own that.
Yeah.
And it's just, like, what you expect from them. Like, You can call her whatever name you want to call her, and she'd be like, and I am.
Yeah.
But I get things done.
Yeah.
And I am.
Yeah.
But I bet you what I say is what I say.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, oh my God, I just really want, can we all just have a good time?
Yeah,
Can we all
right.
just get along? I really don't, I want you to see me for me, but not like that. But also
Right.
know when I'm being serious. But also know I don't have to be that serious all the time. But also, can you get the things done that I said I actually do, that you can just get them done? Like, I just wish I can own it and just decide that's just who I am and be over it. But it's just not who I am.
I decide sometimes in moments, like if I'm experiencing something, I can make a decision that I'm going to be. That's who you're going to get. This is who you're going to get today, and that's just what it's going to be. I'm gonna tell one more, and then we can
move on to the next one.
Which is y'all know I worked in television and in content actually. And so if you don't know, especially in animation, but in a lot of genres, there are sometimes a lot of like Easter eggs, like hidden things, right? That like sometimes you catch. I think for a while there was a lot of like old Disney movies and they would be like, did you see this written in the sand? And like that kind of stuff happens a lot, especially in animation.
And it's intentional. Is what you're telling.
Intentional.
Yeah. Because sometimes I remember hearing, I can't remember what it was. It was like, it looks like a penis in the clouds.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, right? It's because it's adults who make kids content, right? It's not like kids. And so sometimes they're being funny, like whatever. And so sometimes I would catch stuff and flag it or like, change this is not going to work. Like you got caught today. Sometimes you don't catch it. It just happens like whatever. Regardless. We were I was looking at a cut of an episode of something, and there was it was a guitar strap, and the strap on the guitar was a design, and it was the Confederate flag.
Oh, I think I remember this.
And actually somebody flagged it to me. Actually, I didn't see it. Mm-hmm. And somebody was like, yo, is that the Confederate flag? And I looked and I was like, yes, it is. Change it, right? So I make the email, FYI, here is the clip. We will be changing this out. And my boss at the time was like, hold on. And I'm like,
wait, is this the same boss I'm thinking of?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, what? Hold on. There's a Confederate, maybe I should repeat myself.
Yeah.
And actually we're emailing. So he says, let's have a call tomorrow. So I'm like, okay. And he's out of the country. He's traveling. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Maybe it's late. Like, I don't really know. But in my mind, I'm already like moving, telling production, telling people this is going to have to be changed. I'm sending an email. Like, this is going to have to be changed. We have a call the next day. And my boss is literally like, okay, how offensive is the Confederate flag?
Not how offensive.
Literally. And so I was like, just so you know,
I am black.
Right?
That's the Confederate.
Let me tell you what he said. He said, because I asked another black guy at this company who's a director, and he said he's not offended by the Confederate flag. And I said, I had a, oh, you finna get it today.
Uh-huh.
It was like, oh, I'm deciding. I said, as a black woman,
come on,
I want you to know that if I go on a road trip and need to get gas and see a Confederate flag,
I'm not stopping.
I don't stop.
I'm not stopping.
There have been black people who have been killed
behind that flag.
There are trucks.
Come on.
And intentional with trucks.
Yes.
With Confederate flags waving right now. That is a statement.
Absolutely.
That is not unintentional.
Absolutely.
So I don't care who the you asked.
It's
we
offensive,
need
period.
to have that removed.
Period. That's the end of this discussion.
He was like, well, we need to get the budget. I don't care. And we can take it. I can take it to your boss and your boss's boss. I will take it to the owner of this company. I do not care. And I will not work on a show that has a Confederate flag on it and that you approve and allow when I am telling you it is not appropriate. It is offensive.
And you knew who to ask. That's why you asked the man you asked, looking for his approval so you wouldn't have to do it.
I said you asked him.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course he said that.
Of course he did. Who am I thinking of on the Supreme Court? That's who you asked.
Yes.
What's his name?
He was like, well, then you'll.
That's who he asked. He asked
That's
Clarence
who
Thomas.
he asked.
That's exactly who he
That
asked.
is who he asked. He is on the trips with the man with the Confederate flags. They're in Puerto Rico. I'm like, sir. So yeah, he ended up. He said, well, then you can facilitate that.
I will. Thank you so much.
I've already facilitated it, sir. It will be down. I pulled that episode and had it all changed. I was in addition to this particular company having a history with me of being offensive, they had already done things that were offensive to, like, we already had a conversation. So all of that to say, I have made, that was a long, long story, but all to say, in moments I can be like, oh, today's the day. Today you get her. Welcome to the party.
Oh my God. People get on my nerves. That's not a hill worth dying on.
No, it's not. Like, and then, George Floyd being murdered happened.
Yes.
Shortly after.
Yes.
And I wanted every time I saw him, I wanted to, like, remember that conversation?
Yeah.
Remember see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You see? Now you see.
And it shouldn't even take that.
It shouldn't.
And that's what be happening. You be thinking you crazy, like, oh my God, let me change this, let me change. So now I'm, footing around trying to be nice to everybody and accommodate everybody's feelings. Lord have mercy.
Yeah. Anyway, because now we're well over. Do you want to answer some questions?
Yeah, we can answer like a couple. I have a meeting at 2.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this episode's all over the place. We're just having a good time.
Actually, Daddy said this is his favorite thing.
You did say that.
Daddy, and actually Sharice does too. Our friend Sharice, she always says what she loves is the randomness, the chaos of our podcast. I be feeling like we have order because we have topics, segments. But the segments actually kind of lead to the randomness because you can talk about whatever you want within the segment.
Yeah. Hilarious. Okay, first question. Of your parents, who is the gin and who is the juice?
Mom. She probably gonna listen. Why would y'all say that? But mom is the juice. I mean the gin. My mom is gin. What happens is if you're ordering the gin and me and my sisters, now I'm gonna put Monique first. I'm gonna let her edge you out. I don't
think that's true, but okay.
It might be a photo finish, but I'm gonna give it to her because we gonna go to the tape.
We can go. And actually that's fine. But me and Monique are gin in different ways, I think is what I am.
Okay.
But me and mom are
the same gin.
We are the same kind of gin.
Monique is spiked gin.
Fair. She's different than yeah.
Nick, Mel, I don't even really make the gin list because I'm more like my dad. We're juice.
Juice is daddy all
Daddy
day.
is juice.
Daddy is juice.
I am juice. The thing is, though, when I have my gin, have my juice, I can be gin. But it just don't never happen.
What?
Like, I can have gin moments.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. It just is so rare.
Yeah.
That the reality is I'm juice. So, like, it's not even worth talking about because I really don't make the scale. Like, I'm not registering on the Richter scale.
Hilarious.
You're not. Was that an earthquake? You're not even getting that. You're like, we had an earthquake? I didn't even know. I didn't even feel it. Let me see the Richter scale. Who said it? Who's your source? Because I didn't feel nothing.
That's hilarious.
That's my gin.
Monique is tequila, which is why we're saying spiked gin. It's because she's a different kind of liquor altogether, okay? Yeah. But of our parents, mom is turned always, and dad is like chill.
We had a situation at our church one time, and these people were acting a donkey. And they came to the Bible study, acted a donkey. Then they went to a restaurant.
I was going to say, this isn't even, y'all, a lot of the fight story at the church has been told a lot of times. This is a completely different story.
Yeah, this is a completely different story.
Yes. And
mom wasn't in the fight story anyway.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, when you went to church, my mind first went to, fight story. No. This is mama.
Correct. Yes, the people acted a donkey and then left and went to a restaurant. And then mama went to the restaurant.
She went to the restaurant.
To confront them.
To confront the people. Yes.
About them acting a donkey.
Yes.
And we was like, oh, girl.
What?
You could just also mind your business on
you
this.
Literally could have mind your business.
You literally didn't
missionary,
have to do nothing.
Minister, wherever you are. Gonna go try to preach on Sunday. Meanwhile, you at the Olive Garden confronting people.
Like, girl, you could have just left it
Yeah.
all the way alone.
That's her MO. That's
Yeah.
her all
My
day.
mom wears the, like, she wants to save the day badge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she wants to save everybody and be everybody's, like, savior.
Yeah.
And so she finds herself protecting folk, and you be like, they didn't ask for your protection. Just don't. Just leave them folks alone.
Yes.
If they get beat up, so that was God's will.
Amen.
Just you sit down though.
Amen.
You go sit down. So yeah, that's my mama. She gin all day. And daddy be like, now girl.
For real. She be chilling.
Get in the car so we can go.
Let's go, please. Let's go to that's funny. The one that we briefly talked about yesterday, which was how was it transitioning from one kid to two? I'm expecting my second and would love some tips or things that helped you.
Yeah, Mel has a really good answer for this because we had a discovery actually while we were talking. Number one, my kids are 16 and 14. It's been a long time since I've had little kids in the car and trying to remember what that transition was like. But in addition, my kids are 2 years apart. And so I was like, it was a really easy transition for me because what we realized is I just had one long baby phase. Mm-hmm. It was just a 4-year baby phase. Like Isaiah was still in diapers when Joe was born. Mm-hmm. I potty trained Isaiah while I was on maternity leave with Joe. And so it was just like, it felt like it was just continuous. It didn't feel like I had a breath. And then it was like, oh, I need to adjust to 2. I mean, Isaiah was, just over a year by the time I found out I was pregnant with Joe. And then I was literally, they're literally 2 years apart. August and September are their birthdays. So, like, literally 2 years apart. So I just definitely don't have my transition was easy because I just felt like it was continuous. Here's Daddy. Hold on. Are you watching Gin and Juice? Oh, we just talked about you. That's why I thought you were calling. Let me call you back then. Okay. All right, bye. He's not watching. Anyway, it was just one long, continuous baby phase that went for about 4 years. And so I don't really feel like I had a transition that was, like, notable.
Versus
Mel's.
I feel like it's hard. It's still hard. Micaiah is a year and a half. But the difference between Melissa's experience and mine is that my kids are 5 years apart. Mm-hmm. And so McKinley was a baby, a toddler, and in kindergarten. Okay. And so I am now living a new life because I sleep peacefully with her and she can get dressed by herself. And then we started all over again with another child who is absolutely in the baby phase and cannot talk and throws things and always has an attitude. It's a whole thing. So it is definitely challenging for me, but I think it has more to do with the age gap between them versus, like, if they were younger. It just would be a different experience. Not to say one is easier or harder, but it would be a different experience. And this one, I'm like, girl, I should have had you 5 years ago. Y'all should have been twins, and then I could have been done. But
I'm sure that comes with a different set of issues.
Yeah, true.
And at least you'll have 5. I took my sweater off and didn't fix my hair. At least you'll have. I got bleach on my shirt.
Hello.
Oh, y'all
you can't even see it.
Okay, good. At least you'll have time. Like, I feel like because the boys are only 2 years apart, they're going to quickly. The things come quickly after each other.
Yeah.
So next year Isaiah's graduating, and in a very short 2 years after, Joe will be graduating. Yeah. And so that kind of freaks me out because it's the same with the baby phase. It's like I don't get a chance to, like, catch my breath before the next milestone. It's kind of coming up, and so that freaks me out. With 5, Kenny can go. You can catch your breath a little bit. You still got a little bit of time. I mean, also that means they're not even going to high school at the same time.
No, which sucks. I kind of wanted them to.
We didn't either.
Me and you did, and I always wanted to, though. So I'm like, that's kind of whack. I wanted them to do that, but it's okay because she does definitely help. Like, McKinley helps with Micaiah, and she be helping me, child. So it is. Yeah. That is a pro.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Last one is I haven't fully read this through, but it could be interesting. In life, I hear that we all have purpose. Do you believe that having a meaningful purpose doesn't always entail moving to California? If so, how do you really know you are living in purpose? I think if this question could be answered, then people would learn to be more at peace where they are, rather than thinking if they don't reach California in their lifetime, then it's okay. What are your thoughts? I think California
I was
is
just about to say that.
Okay.
I don't think we mean the literal California. I think what California represents in people's lives. Okay. Okay, so hold on. Let me pull it up. You can give your thoughts first.
So do you believe that having a meaningful purpose doesn't always entail moving to California? If so, how do you really know when you are living in purpose? I think if this question could be answered, people can be more at peace. Okay, so I have had a do you want to say?
No, go ahead.
Kind of back to the beginning of this episode about like, this isn't where I thought I would be, but like, this is where I am. That purpose is just interesting to me. I don't know. I think I used to always define purpose as like the thing you were supposed to do, or you are supposed to do. You were brought here to do blah, right? I don't really think that that's purpose anymore. That's not at least how I'm choosing to define purpose. I seen something for a tweet maybe of Teyana Taylor, maybe this morning or last night. But you know, she's like choreographing people right now, like, which is very dope.
I love it because she's helping the girl that we saw at Essence that I did not.
Summer Walker.
Yes.
She's like doing that. And so somebody was like, this is like a testimony and it's okay to pivot. Like you have more than one gift and you should like use them when appropriate, when you can, how you can. Teyana Taylor did a whole album, had a whole music career. She also is like a dope designer. She also directs. She has directed music videos and a ton of stuff. And now she's doing this, not even now, because I think all of these things have happened. And I don't think one is her purpose more than the other is her purpose. I think leaning in to the things that maybe bring you joy, that you excel at, and that fulfill you is what purpose is. So it's not like the pinnacle of that thing. So if I like sewing, as an example, my purpose could be to sew and give to homeless people, unhoused people. It doesn't mean that I have to sew and design Beyonce's concert tour outfits. You know what I'm saying? I hope I'm making sense.
You are.
So anyway, the California in that example is like being the designer for Beyonce, when in actuality, my purpose is still sewing, but it's just to do it in this way and give in this way. And if that fulfills me, then that's my purpose. So I don't even know if that was a good answer or if that was an answer.
No, I think that is a good answer. You know what I think we have to do then is reconcile the difference, and I think this is what I'm saying, between maybe a purpose and a dream.
Oh, okay.
Because let's say, for example, it's sewing, right?
Yeah.
But your dream is the Beyonce outfit. Then the purpose could feel unfulfilled because you didn't reach the dream, which would be that California version. So I think we have to learn to find the satisfaction in doing what brings us joy, even if it doesn't look like the California version of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's why we aspire to California.
Yeah.
We're using it again like this. But I think that's why we all aspire to California, because we want the best. We want, when you dream of singing, you're dreaming of it on this bigger scale. You know? It's like teaching for me, although it's a little bit different actually. I found a lot of purpose and meaning in my life in teaching, but I also would have been okay just doing it at church. I didn't have a dream to do it bigger. So actually maybe I'm not a good example, but I could have been fulfilled just doing that.
Yeah.
And there are people who can sing and they're okay just singing on Sunday morning and they don't. But I think people may have a hard time when they feel like, I have this gift, this thing, and I'm not doing it to the way that like I envision myself doing it. And that could feel empty. That could feel empty. I don't know what the advice is to get over that. I'm just saying I can understand that feeling, that it could feel empty or unfulfilled.
I just want to say quickly, because you talked about teaching, and I see a Black woman animator, Deborah, her comment in here. I have always wanted to work in entertainment and television. I've said that forever and never had a dream of moving to LA. I never wanted to move here. And then I got that email for Netflix and I was like, why not? But like, I
want to be clear. It was more than a why not.
What was it?
You latched on and was like, this.
Oh, well, yeah. After it came, it was like, sure.
Yes.
I'll do this.
Yes.
I don't care that I'm pregnant. Absolutely.
Yes.
But prior to that,
for sure,
I never, and even in that, you know what the thing for me was? It was like entertainment. Netflix is the California. Like I would work there.
Gotcha.
But it was less about like California being like the home of entertainment. It just was like I wanted, and at that time I was like sick of like the small opportunities that existed in Atlanta. But my point was that like I was okay with like, yo, let me just do the thing that I enjoy doing like at this scale. Let me go home and to my family and be done. And I don't need all the hoopla. And then here we are.
All these years later. All these years later. You been here for 10 years?
No, girl.
No, I've been here for 10 years.
Yeah.
You've been here for like 7 years.
So it'll be 7 in July. Your birthday.
Sure now. Okay then.
We're done. We've been here a long
that's
time.
it. Yes, we have. It's been about an hour and a half. I got about 15 minutes for every time I see that. I think it's 3:30. I'm sorry, 1:30, but it's 1:45.
Oh, it is.
That means I got 15 minutes for this call. Thank you guys so much for your questions. Please send us some more. Pop the trunk.
Yes, I have more, so we'll just have to keep reading them.
Okay.
Because I only got through one, but like there's some good ones in here.
Okay, so send them at admin@KevOnStage.com. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. 9:47 p. Hold on. It's Miss Sarah to you. Where are you?
Oh, are you in the UK?
You have to be across the pond. We have to stay here until we know.
Thanks, y'all, for saying my hair looks good. I did it.
Yeah, she's in the UK. That's cool.
That is cool. Somebody messaged me, said she was in Ghana. I was like, shout out to Ghana.
Okay, then. Mel got last thing, promise. Mel got recognized. Where were you?
At the movies.
At the movie theaters.
Looking a mess.
And what did they say?
She was like, I watch you on Gin and Juice. So actually, if you're here, what's up, girl? I look better today than you saw me at the theater, girl. Okay.
You wasn't looking like you got Mel. You was looking like
not.
Mel. Oh, we got Barbados. I'm in South Africa.
South Africa? Invite us there.
Thank you guys so much. Bye.